All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. Now, it's only early August, but a big series begins in the National League East tonight as the Philadelphia Phillies are set to host the New York Mets. Now, the Phillies come into this series winners of their last 5 games while the slumping Mets are just 3-7 in their last 10. And as a result of this, the Mets lead in the on the top spot in the National League East is just down to half a game now. Now, the Mets have not won 2 games in a row since July 25th when they beat the Toronto Blue Jays. And they have not scored more than 5 runs in any contest over that stretch since then. The Mets offense was already in a funk, and now that funk has just gotten worse. We just saw the Mets drop 3 out of 4 this week on the road versus the Miami Marlins, who are in last place in this division. And if you're the Mets and you're contending for a postseason berth, you definitely don't want to do that. You look at this series. There are plenty of keys to look at. First and foremost, you look at the pitching matchups. Tonight is going to be Marcus Stroman against Kyle Gibson. Tomorrow, Tyler McGill versus Ranger Suarez. And then on Sunday, Taijuan Walker versus Zach Wheeler. Now, you're looking at this, and this right now is a disadvantage for the Mets. And that disadvantage is, a bad combo of their inconsistent bullpen going up against the Phillies lineup that has had the knack for the comeback win. We saw the Phillies come back several times this week and defeat the Washington Nationals on the road. And this team is hot right now, and they are believing in themselves. Citizen Bank Park should be buzzing for this one. I think right now, with the Phillies getting right back into the mix in the NL East, and of course the rivalry over the years with the New York Mets, there'll definitely be some Phillies fans out there supporting their team. And I think that there will be some Mets fans that make the trek down from the Big Apple to see this one. But for the Mets, somebody's got to step up in this series. And you look at some of the guys. Pete Alonso, Michael Conforto, Dom Smith, Jeff McNeil, and Javi Baez. The reason why I bring them into that mix, the Mets left a lot of guys on base in that series versus the Marlins. That's not going to get it done. And then I'm looking at the starting rotation, Marcus Stroman and Taijuan Walker. You look at Marcus Stroman, he's set to be a free agent this offseason. And if there was ever a time when the Mets needed him to pitch one of the best games of his career, this series is definitely going to be it. Taijuan Walker started off real strong for the first half of the season, but he has tapered off. And he's going up against Zach Wheeler, a former Met who definitely wants to go out there and stick it to his former club and help his current club in the Phillies overtake the first or the top spot rather in this division. You look for the Mets. They need to try to go out there and set the tone early in tonight's game. And I say that, the guys that I mentioned, the guys that like, Pete Alonso, the guys like Jeff McNeil, the guys like Michael Conforto, somebody needs to go out there and get a big bop in their bat, drive a couple of guys in and give Stroman a couple of runs to work with when he takes the mound from the bottom of the first inning. And then if you're Marcus Stroman, you need to go out there and set the tone early on the mound in this one versus this hot Phillies lineup and say, you know what, it's not happening tonight. It's not going to be on my watch. Now, we've seen it in sports. It does not take a lot to reverse the momentum. A play here, a break there, and things could get flipped around. We've seen that. So the Mets have to be cognizant of that. But they also, looking inside of the stats in the series, the Mets are not good on the road this season, while the Phillies are real good at home. So that is definitely something else that works against them. I think this will be a good series. And I think whoever is able to set that tone and win the series or win game one tonight definitely is going to put themselves in a position to win this series. I look at it. I'm not confident with how the Mets are playing right now. You have to be confident with how the Phillies are playing right now. And, of course, that leans towards the Phillies winning this series. I do think the Phillies will win this series, and I do think that the Phillies will be in first place at weekend's end. And, that's saying a lot because the Mets have been in first place in this division for quite some time. Now, granted, if the Phillies were able to beat the Mets this weekend and overtake them for first place, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to win this division because, again, it's something where nobody's running away with the National League East. All of these teams have been very, very mediocre all season long. And the Mets have had their opportunities leading into this series to overtake the Phillies and Braves and really, put some distance between themselves, and they've been unable to do it. I think the Jacob DeGrom injury really hurt the Mets. Francisco Lindor is injured, and he wasn't being that productive even when he was healthy. Those are two things that have definitely helped hurting the Mets rather this season. The Mets' inability with guys in scoring position, that's a big thing. Somebody's got to go out there and make the big play for them. But you look at this Phillies club, it's one of those where, they're getting hot right now. And this is a time of year where you want to start playing your best baseball of the year as you cascade into the month of September and potentially the month of October. That's something the Phillies appear to be doing, and that's something the Mets aren't doing right now. So it's one of those. I do expect the Phillies to win this series and overtake the Mets. I'm not going to write off the Mets for the rest of the season. I do still think that they have one big push in them. I still think that the Braves have a big push in them, in spite of the fact that they don't have the services of Ronald Acuna Jr. for the rest of the year. But nonetheless, this should be a good series. Plenty on the line, and it's all about who's going to step up and make those big plays for both respective clubs. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take the time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you are on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it will be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. You can check it out, drop a line, and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin, signing off, saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.